So you can see the lump. This is a bruise that occurred when my surfboard, single fin surfboard, just scraped past my arm this morning after a wipeout on a wave. Somewhere in the whitewater, I think it was the back of the fin, really roughly scraped against the inside of my arm. Because it was in the perfect shape, and I'm pretty sure it was the back of the fin because it was the sharp part. And even if it was the front of the fin, same thing, it just rubbed against my arm. You can see not just where the red is, but further up, the bruise is actually quite large. That red is just actual top skin layer scrapage. So there it is on the side, you can see it better, more of a lump. And there you can see it probably the best with the light there. So if I show you that now, right, see how it's coming down? It's still red in the middle. It's slightly less inflamed, and that is the worst that the bruising part will get. See that discoloration there? It's very slight. That's where the first impact of it was, obviously, and then it's scraped where it's red, and then there's like a trail forward of inflammation. But you can see that, right? So my point is that if you're really unhealthy, you get worse bruising. I just wanted to make basically a short video about that. I've heard other health people talk about that, and health practitioners and people who heal people. There's some agreement that it's got to do with parasitical activity beneath the skin. And, not because this is a bad bruise, but it's the same every time. I don't bruise anymore, but I remember when I was a kid, I actually bruised worse when I was a kid because I was eating worse. And I think it was before I was surfing. So the point is then it must be lymph system related a lot too. And they call the lymph system like the sewage, right, of the body as well. So I just wanted to say that it's another way to like gauge your health, and if you're like falling behind. Like, you know how people get really bad bruises when they're really frail and stuff? So it's an indication of health as well. That's the worst that's going to get. And it may even be gone by the morning. I've just noticed that when I surf more, my bruises are lighter. And so it must be lymph system related. Not just parasitical related, because that's what someone else said to me that really knows what they're talking about too. So who studies like nanobacteria and stuff, and parasites. They're really a parasitologist, and that's what they said to me. That it's parasite related as well. So it's not just, and you've got to think about the parasites in the veins as well and everything. It's not just if you have, but see, it is a clogging issue as well. But when there's clogging, there are parasites, right? It goes hand in hand as well. And when there's the bruise on the older, frailer person, it's just not the same by obesity. But it can be another plaque. It can just be low flow, I guess you might summarize it, right? The whole thing can kind of be summarized as low flow. So it's not like they're obese and got a clogged artery, or the nervous system stuff we could talk about, because the nerves are partially oil, for people who don't know. It's partially how we help our nerves with oils as well. People don't know about that part. Anyway, so the older, frailer person can be like a type of plaque which reduces flow, right? So it might just not be like cholesterol like cloggage, like in that way. And the empty life force nature, again with flow, and what people in weightlifting call the pump, right? The pump is that feeling you get back, like the old Arnold Schwarzenegger uh, way of explaining it. You know, but it's essentially, again, just flow again, and you get that chi, the chi energy flowing, right? And remember, chi is related to metabolistic, right? To having better metabolites and metabolism, a more lively response, and so on. Yeah, but you notice it can all be summarized as a flow problem, right? It's not just like people. So what I'm saying is, like, it's not just about, oh yeah, it's parasites, and then take something to kill that parasite. You know, I'm actually saying address the underlying cause, which would be flow, which you can, you know, partially fix by, for instance, how I go surfing a lot. I can't even think of a better fix, because you have to get the pump to beat the wave, and you're, you know, trying to paddle out the back, right? You're definitely on the pump. It's the highest flow state your entire body can undergo, because you're paddling for sheer fear of your life, of drowning or whatever, you know what I mean? Or ending up on the rocks and this and that. So you're in a very high flow state, you know, when I'm paddling in surfing. That when you're a good paddler and you're not just floundering around, you're in a high flow state. And that's going to be clearing the lymph, you know, let alone emotional blockages and all the deeper stuff. But yeah, it's going to be clearing the lymph, right? Not just the deeper mental meditation of it and all this. And you're physically getting the pump, and you're clearing out the lymph as well. And they have one-way flow valves as well. And you can get things stuck in the nodes. So to have a high flow going is going to partially already clear out parasites. Right, so yes, people would just like say exercise, but what I'm saying is, well, think about this. Actually, your pores, you know how your pores are really long? That's another part of this bruising issue to do with health. Like if you have, you know, somehow clogged pores or something like that, something going on with the pores, you're in the salt, in the surf, in the ocean. It's like a washing machine, the white water of the waves, right? And you're going in and around it and under it, falling in the water. Like your pores are getting cleaned much more than some therapy in a shop or even a shower. Right, and you have chlorine problems in the shower, which, yeah, can partially clear the pore, but then it's like more damaging than, you know, nice ocean water, especially on a good day. You know, nice water. Depending where you are, I'm not talking about just, you know, polluted water or something. But you get the point. Like, there's that. That's also an exfoliation, the whole deal, right? So you're getting the whole thing. See that on a medicinal term, you know, and viewpoint and perspective. You know, when you're surfing, you can see the whole system getting cleared. And I just wanted to say that because people don't know. For instance, I was with a woman and she was so scared to get bruised, and she was actually overweight, a little bit overweight. And, you know, I knew that was the problem. I could tell. And, you know, these parasites get into their brain. Viruses on the brain and stuff like this are not, you know, well spoken of and mentioned, and much more prolific, and should be, and warrant much more attention than we're giving. And it's interesting they connect to fear enhancement, like neurologically, you know what I mean? Receptors and molecules that go in that direction. And she was like that energy, you know what I mean? And she bruised, and I related all that anyway. So I just wanted to put that down for you guys, because I actually related all that. So yeah, just a quick video on that. I'm running out of space.